Today we're talking about being in a relationship with someone. Have you ever felt like, physically we are together, but emotionally we are worlds apart? It feels like you're forcing conversations, you're pulling emotionally to feel like, what do they think? Are they here with me? Are they not? All of those things put together. Do you feel like, I just want to be loved, but that is not happening to you? Or probably the way you want to be loved is not, they're not there. So today we're diving into that world and just seeing what does that mean? What does it look like? Is it the same for every person, or does it probably exhibit in different forms in different relationships? Where does it come from? What are the stories behind an emotionally distant partner? Uko tayari? Funga kamba. It's about to get hot. The question we're asking you today is very, very simple. What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? If you had an opening, like a window like this, and you were told, in these 3 seconds, they are actually listening, what would you say to them? NTV Kenya on all of our social media platforms. Please indulge us. Let us know where you're tuned in from. And also, WhatsApp line yetu iko open. Unaweza tupigia pia simu. Tuchukue simu, because I am not alone. Winnie anaweza kuwa hayupo. But I have an amazing panel with me today. And starting from my immediate left, we have Lydia Karemi, who's a counseling psychologist, all in red today. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
Hey, uliamua last time tuna coordinate, ukaona leo unaona ni kama pengine itawak.
Niliona leo unajua ni mapenzi, tuna discuss mapenzi. And relationships work. So
yes,
let me maintain this.
Yeah, representing love all the way. Okay. And right next to Lydia, we have Kagondu Jr. Welcome to the show, a counseling psychologist as well. Lovely to have you.
Asante sana.
Umeleta color. This was our theme last week, wasn't
really?
it? On Tuesday, we were doing African.
I missed
African.
out.
No, but you're representing today.
Today is
fine.
Tuesday.
Yes. And last but not least, we have a relationship coach, Miriam Mwangi. Karibu sana to the show.
To be here.
Lovely to have you. Wamenitoa jacket, otherwise tulikuwa tuna coordinate. Tuna coordinate. Welcome to the show.
Shukran.
When I had this conversation earlier in the makeup room, and Beth was just saying, I'm sorry, I can't relate. I was just like, what do you mean? You've never been with someone who feels like they're far away, and all you're doing all the time is hoping, begging that they... Please. Jameni, utakuja leo, ninafaa kufanya nini? How backward do I bend over to just bring you a bit closer? But when we talk about emotional distance, I'm emotionally distant in a relationship, what do we mean? What does it look like? And maybe we can do that vis-a-vis someone who's emotionally present, so that we see what it actually looks like. We can start with you, Lydia.
All right, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate being here. At the moment, I was told that we're going to talk about emotional distance and closeness.
Yes.
I think it's one of the things that I really appreciate talking about, especially in relationships. So when you talk of emotional distance, it's important to understand what are emotions, okay?
Yes.
And what is this presence that we are looking for? And I went, having a Christian background, being a born-again Christian, I sought to understand why exactly did God desire to bring people together, okay? And it begins at Genesis, whereby Genesis, God realized that Adam was alone. He was lonely. And so he made the choice to give him a helper. The fact that God realized there was loneliness. Loneliness is an emotion, right? It is an emotion that needed to be taken care of. So in the heart of our Creator, human beings need companionship. Human beings need to be felt. Human beings need to be understood. They need to be heard. They need affection, you know? They need presence. They need to be validated. They need to be affirmed. They need to be encouraged. You get it? So when a couple or someone gets into a relationship, one of the expectations they have is to be heard, to be felt. They expect presence.
Yes.
Get it? So when we're talking about emotional unavailability, this is a case whereby a partner is not providing these psychological needs, is not meeting the needs that the partner is looking for. Okay.
Okay.
The partner that would say is present is one who is physically present, one who is emotionally present, who is providing the intimacy that their partner is actually craving for.
Okay. When we say emotionally present, and we're saying we need someone who cares hard, is it dependent on how probably I perceive that as the recipient of it? Because maybe wewe by the way uko present 1 million times, lakini mi kwangu I don't, you're not here. So is it
pretty long, and I love this stuff to do with Lombotov.
Kagondo today is showing off his Genge language.
You see, when we are talking about the emotional availability and all that, it has a lot to do with how I present myself, but equally how I also take in that, all right? And remember, when I'm coming into a relationship, I'm getting into a relationship, there's a lot of expectations, because, you know, I want to see my better half conduct herself in a certain way. And this is why we have all those checklists, you know, tick, 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 then maybe a gap, if not a question mark. And, you know, when you talk about co-love, my question normally is it that we don't have those words, you know, the warmth and all that? But the thing is that particular element of, you know, showing compassion, showing the love, it doesn't have the warmth that it used to have before, okay? Because remember, we have a way that we approach this particular union, or even the relationship, talk about, even if it is a marriage and all that, okay? And everybody has a vague picture, a painted picture of what they expect. It's like we are going for holiday, you know, down at the coast, and we don't know that the weather down there is a bit chilled up and all that. Yet we were expecting some sunny, you know, encounters, clean beaches and all that. But when I get into this relationship, I find somebody who is not availing themselves up to my expectations. And the question would be, what is leading us to all this, okay? And you find that a majority of the people, they come in with a lot of baggage from their previous relationships. Talk about unfinished businesses, all right? And at times, you may find people who are also in fear. They're not free to be vulnerable with the other person because of what happened in the other encounter. And when we judge and critique this particular person that I'm with at the moment, with the previous relationship that I had, then that means, in a way, there will be some sort of a distance, because I won't be bringing in my A game. I won't be availing myself at 100%. And this is why you find that people have some sort of reservations, all right? Why? Because I know if I give my all, there's a high possibility that it will turn out to be like it was before, all right? So you find some are even tired of even trying, you know, to be present. Why? Because I've really pushed myself, I've done all I can, I've even invested in this particular relationship. Talk about the many outings that we went, talk about the many time I was here with you. Right? Because remember, how I perceive, how I take it also has a lot to do with the love language. Maybe you mentioned to me when you were quoting that, for me, my love language is gifting. I mean, nimekuwa nikileta mazawadi, full bag, and there's nothing to show for it. You don't really appreciate that. So you find, in a way, we don't feel heard. We don't feel appreciated. Many people might feel not seen. And this is why they may not bring out their A game. And you find that that warmth, you know, disappears, and within a short while, it's so cold, and you no longer recognize how it felt, you know, to be in love with this particular person.
Miriam, is it conscious, subconscious choice to just step back, or does it fade away? Or again, my background and everything I have known up to this point is probably the reason I am the way I am, and to me, I am okay. Niwewe tu na demand too much from me.
That's a wonderful question, Wikali, and thank you for it. I think it's a matter of both. It's a matter of both. Sometimes it's a conscious decision because of the relationship breakdown, things that have happened within the relationship, especially if you're in a relationship and you no longer feel safe in that relationship, emotionally safe, physically safe, intimately safe, then you kind of like pull back because you're like, I have previously, like Kagondu has said, I have previously done this. I have gifted you. None of these gifts are ever appreciated. None of this is ever taken positively. So what do? You cut back. That's just an example. You cut back on the gifting. Kidogo, kidogo, kidogo. They continue reducing until you're no longer doing it. Because you didn't feel safe in that environment. You didn't feel accepted. You didn't feel seen. You didn't feel wanted. So most of the time, when it's out of choice, when it's through choice, it's because of an erosion of the relationship, erosion of how the relationship works, erosion of communication, erosion of the correct conflict resolution, and erosion of vulnerability. All right. But when it's not out of choice, which sometimes that's the case, we have to go back to the attachment styles. We have to go back to the attachment styles. Those ones we can't escape. Why? Because if, for example, I'm an avoidant and I've grown up that way through the emotional trauma that I've gone through in my childhood, we will kind of have a push and pull in that relationship. Maybe this avoidant is dating an anxious attachment. An anxious attachment is reeling in because they need to feel loved, they need to feel accepted, appreciated. They need to feel like, can you just make me feel loved? Can you just make me feel secure? That's what they're looking for. Now, an avoidant, yes, they will enter a relationship looking for companionship just like anybody else, looking for love just like anybody else. But when now it becomes too much, remember they became avoidants because of the trauma that they went through in childhood. Maybe the trauma was they were left. When they needed and craved loved mostly, they were left hanging. So now when they get into a relationship where they are starting, mapenzi mechacha, they're starting to feel like, hey, imeenda. They're like, but wait a minute, what if they leave? They might leave. So let me protect myself kitambo before nihatiwe. So what do? They start withdrawing. You know, they start wanakurushia kama mapenzi once every a few moments, you know, especially when they realize you might leave. So wanakurushia kadogo, kaskari kadogo tu una feel, hey, nimependwa, unarudi. So it's a push pull, you know. So you don't know where as an anxious or whoever is on the other receiving end, they don't know whether you're going or coming in this relationship. And that's where the breakage comes. That's where the pain of emotional distance comes, because it's more of a push and pull. It's not constant. When this person realizes you're about to leave, they'll actually sugar you a little bit. Just to reel you in. Ni kama, you know, mchezo wa paka na panya, like, you know, they reel you in. But sometimes it's unconscious for this other person. It's unconscious because they don't know anything else. They don't even know they're emotionally distant. So by the time you're telling them, they're like, but see, I have done ABCD. They have a list to meet. But si nimekufanyia, na nikafanya, na nikakupigia simu, sulikuwa unataka nikupigie mara tatu, si nilikupigia, shida ni. Then you on the other side, you're like, I had to tell you. Kwani hauwezi fanya bila mimi kukuambia, like, you know. So it's usually very tiring for this other person. But I have to bring up the issue also, Mwikali. You can be in a relationship that you're actually being loved and the person is kind of quote unquote present, but you don't feel it because within yourself you're lonely. Have you ever seen people who are lonely in relationships?
Wait, so you're being loved from the outside, from everybody can see it. But then from where I'm seated as the other person in this relationship, I don't feel it or can't accept it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, because within yourself, and that's why we always say, don't enter a relationship looking to be completed, because nobody can ever complete you. Some of those things you have to maybe like Lydia said, let them come from a different source, from God, from, you know, there's a way you can only be filled by God or be filled by something, not generally by a person. And most people who are looking to be filled by a person tire the other person. The other person actually get tired because it can never be enough. It can never be enough. You're in a relationship but you're feeling so lonely. It is you. It is you as a person who needs to take time to self-evaluate. What am I really looking for? Maybe even this relationship stopped serving you a long time ago because you outgrew it.
Yes.
But because you don't know yourself, you're still there holding on to what you know.
Yes.
Because after all, at least I have it. But you outgrew it. So it's really, really important to know in yourself, what am I really looking for? Kagonto talked about love languages.
Yes.
Do you know love languages change?
Yes,
I was going to ask that because
Love
maybe
languages
gifts
change.
unabeba tu gifts na yake change.
And you mwenyewe hata haurealize, but unashindwa how come hizi gifts hazinifurahishi.
Yeah.
Msee amekuletea mpaka diamond and you're like
Tutaipenda hiyo.
unashangaa, okay fine, it's a stone, it's nice, it's rocking.
But that's not what I want. I just want
and then the
quality
guy is
time.
looking at you like, but do you know how much I've spent in this thing? Unamuliza, who told you?
I
didn't want this.
my
All you
God.
wanted was someone to sit next to you, hold your hand, kiss you tenderly, you know, just appreciate you physically. Because your love language changed. Aliacha love language yako ikuwa gift. That's the other thing. Are people communicating their needs? Are people communicating their changes? I think I've said it here previously, Mwikali, a while back, a couple of years back, 4 years ago to be precise, when I lost my mom. I had a very dear friend in my life. We talked, deep conversations. We're always there for each other. But in that particular moment, I actually told this person, I don't think you love me. I don't think you were there for me. This person used to call me 3-4 times a day to ask me, how are you doing? Are you
During
okay?
this period?
During this period. Okay. But the fact that he wasn't there physically, and I didn't even know what I needed. But I knew what he's giving me is not what I need.
Okay.
I don't feel you. I don't feel you. But him, he's like, but all I'm doing is be there. And me, I'm like, no, I can't feel you. You need to be physically present. And so he's wondering, so what else? To him, the calling, the checking in.
He's there.
But to me, I'm like, no. So later on is when Nilijuliza, by the way, because you know that disintegrated the friendship and everything. Nilijuliza, what did I really want? That's when I realized later on, I searched myself, nilijitaka mkutano, and I was like, I needed proximity. I needed physical, you know, his physical expression, his, you know, comfort physically, like I'm here. I realized, my love language has changed. I am no longer the affirmation person. I'm more of quality time. Quality time and touch. I was like, when did I graduate to that? So you can be in a relationship, you've changed, but you don't know. And this other person is working with the old because that's all he knows. You guys have not talked. So I would like to say it's very, very, very important to communicate. When you do this, I feel. When you don't do this,
but then
I feel.
Doesn't the communication also come in at a place where I feel safe enough to say these things? Instead of, if I say these things, then I look like I'm probably needy, nagging, I am nasumbua, you're always wanting and needing, you're always seeing something wrong in this relationship. Then what happens then is now, instead of dealing with a thing, I have tried to approach, then now we've gone even further apart.
Communication is so important. Like, I can never speak enough, emphasize enough about communication. And it depends with what kind of communication. Communication is talking and talking meaningfully.
Okay.
Because you could be talking about sunshine and the air being, you know, just
the air being what?
Just, you know, like you're talking about superficial things.
Okay.
You're not going deep into conversation in things that matter, that make you know this person. You know, there's a conversation you can be having with someone and you realize, this guy changed. Oh, so when did you start liking football? I didn't, you know, like, so what makes people grow apart is that thing of not talking and talking meaningfully.
Okay.
You know, because by the time you're communicating your needs, you're communicating your needs in a space where you're both used to that communication. You're not just bringing it out randomly, because if you bring it out randomly, it sounds like an attack. It's a kind of communication that comes out. You always do. You always. So you're not only attacking the situation, but you're attacking this person's character. That's why it will feel like
you're being needy and nagging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're due on a break, but I pick up the importance of knowing self, right? Even before you walk into this, so that you're able to identify when the person is there physically, when they're not there emotionally, and all of that, and even knowing what your needs are, and being cognizant to the fact that probably things have changed. The way I perceived them, the way I wanted them is not the way I'm receiving them now. But when we're going to go on a break, when we come back, we'll probably take a look at some of the role of fear in all of this, the fear of rejection, judgment, fear of heartbreaks, and all of that put together. But the question that we are asking you today is very, very simple. We are asking you a very, very important question that we're going to touch on once we come back from the break. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Relationship Tuesday. We're talking about when love feels so far away and you're dealing with an emotionally absent, unavailable partner. What does it mean? And we've covered a couple of things, going back to their childhood, probably how they grew up. Sometimes them loving you and not seeing it because you've got chaos going on inside, and how it's important for you to know exactly what you want, how you want it, and be able to communicate these things with your partner. And tuko na swali yenye tunakuuliza leo, and the question that we are asking you is very, very simple. What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? That's the question we're asking you today. Share your answer with us, share your story with us, call us NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms. Tuambie uko wapi na hii inakuaffect aje. If you had like a small tiny little window, what would you tell them if you were sure they were listening to you? And during the break, we had a proper conversation here on how you can be with someone and you can be together for a very long time, and then somehow it stops making sense. Somehow it stops looking like what you wanted, and at that point maybe you withdraw, or probably the relationship comes to an end. But what are some of the things that we need to look like, or probably the things that if we were okay and now things are not okay, what are some of the things that probably could have happened?
All right, thank you so much for that. I think I would go back to self.
Yes.
All right. It is very important that every individual gets to understand who they are. Understand who you are. Understand what your needs are. Understand what your strengths are, and even your weaknesses are. Understand, why am I in this relationship? All right. People are in relationships for different reasons. And by the time you're getting to a point whereby you are outgrowing, the relationship is either outgrowing you or you're outgrowing it, because that happens.
It does.
Yes. There are so many factors that might have taken place in that particular relationship. Yes. Sometimes, as we were saying, people get into maybe education-wise. People grow and develop to spaces whereby they can no longer connect with their partners, because maybe they feel like their partner is dragging them behind as they are growing or as they are moving. Realizing that as a problem or as a challenge, Miriam said, can we communicate?
Yes.
Can we talk about it? There are other things, like, for example, spiritual changes. Yes, someone has decided to take a different route spiritually, and the other one is stuck in a different one. Yes, and that can cause that distance. Okay, and so that affects the relationship in a very big way. There are also other things that could have happened. Sometimes some people go through mental health illnesses. For example, depression. Yes. So you've gone through depression. You're not able to even address or handle yourself. You're not able to give yourself alone. So you have not enough energy to give to someone else or to the people that are around you. You are available for your partner or to your partner and to your family for a period of time until you experienced a certain illness. Then that is a factor. Okay. Sometimes it's changes, like, for example, societal changes. You've just learned, or you've been informed, a man is not supposed to speak or is not supposed to show vulnerability. You've gone and had meetings and connections out there, and you've come back with a different ideology. Yes, that you're not supposed to cry in front of you. You're not supposed to express yourself. Okay. Yes. So sometimes it's the relationship. What do you call it? Sometimes it's betrayal. There has been a scenario whereby there's infidelity. Okay. So whenever you've betrayed one another, what happens? Somebody chooses or decides, either consciously or subconsciously, decides to keep off.
Yeah.
So his availability is no longer as, the measure is no longer as it used to be. All right? So relationships, we need to realize that the relationships are not constant. They are dynamic. They keep changing. What you are today may be very different tomorrow. And that's why here, I was dating my partner, or I was in a relationship with my partner, we were okay, we were good, but something changed. My partner changed. If you communicate, if you keep having conversations with one another, and deep conversations, not just surface.
On surface, the air is doing a thing.
Yes. Deep conversations, you get to know that there is something that has been changing in the life of my partner. There is a kind of mindset shift that has been taking place in the life of my partner. How can I catch up? How can we together grow together? If it is a change of needs, emotional needs, today I love touch. And after a period of time, it has actually shifted to something else. And for the other, you know, it doesn't only change with one person.
I'm just looking at me, I'm focusing on me.
To the two partners, yes. So whenever these changes are taking place, are we really aligned? Okay? Sometimes it is the stresses of life. Someone has lost a job. Did you know that stress can cause emotional distance? Yes, because someone is already going through maybe low self-esteem. They are struggling with confidence. They are struggling internally, internal chaos. Okay? They are wondering, how do I put bread on the table? And that alone is enough to make them hold back. Because they are under a lot of stress.
Absolutely. And you know, yes, Kagon.
Yes, just allow me to just chip in.
Yes.
And I love the direction the conversation is taking. And when you talk about the changes and the transitions that take place, you know, it's something that you also need to appreciate, that there's normally a gap. You know, the end of one thing signifies the beginning of another. But what we don't talk about is what happens in between, the person that you're becoming in the process. And I'm looking back at this single person, you know, when you are single, vis-a-vis when you get committed and you're into a relationship. A lot of changes come to be, okay? Because remember, before, I never used to get questioned, why am I coming late? You know, where is the cup still on the table, such like things, okay? But good to also appreciate that as we progress on in the relationship, a lot of those changes happen to be, all right? For example, when we come together, it could be there's a introduction of the firstborn, okay? It's no longer the same as it was when you were two, okay? And I've seen many people, you know, drift away from each other because now the concentration is on this particular human being, you know? And, you know, we need to show the baby a lot of love, a lot of attention and all that. And we forget that I also need to touch my partner. We need to have our own time. Think about when the second and the third born, you know, come into the picture. And slowly, maybe they also getting into preschool, talk about the junior high.
In distance, if you come to
now.
And
and this is why, when you talk about personal development, working on you, it should be you know, yes, like back to back, or even sako kwa bako, you know what they say. As we bring other children into the picture, other human beings into the picture, we should also be working on ourselves. Because one thing that I've seen in most cases, you know, as we go through the transitions, many couples, they forget the mere fact that when these particular kids, they leave the nest, will be left alone, you know, like it was before. Okay, and if we never worked on our relationship, if never got close to one another, if the bond was not as strong as it used to be, remember, this is where you hear most people separating even after the kids have left the nest. And this is why it's very important for everybody in the picture to really work on themselves and also have that candid conversation. You know, what will make me get closer to you? How will you feel, you know, more appreciated? In the midst of all that you're doing, the good work of being a father, you know, being a mommy, parenting itself, but we also need to think about we as a couple, we as, you know, as a spouse, because in most cases we tend to forget about that particular bit. And this is why you find that when we are carried away by all these transitions, you know, we forget each other. And maybe investing in some sort of seminars, you know, couple seminars, talk about the short courses, many people talk about issues to do with I no longer feel you the way I used to, you know, at the beginning. But the question is, what did you stop doing, you know, that you used to do before, right? We used to go for date every now and then, but we stopped doing that because now we are concentrating about the kids and bringing up a family. I know people might say that economic times don't allow. At times we are constrained financially, but we really don't have to go to some high end, you know. Even just taking, we boil some tea in our own ramos and we go watching the sun, you know, kiss the ground, the sundowner. That is such an amazing encounter. Maybe on the balcony, the two of us. And this is why the me and my spouse alone moment is very important, because that's how we grow together, and that's how we grow closer to each other, and at the end of the day, the distance may be narrowed.
Absolutely. And the importance of choosing at the beginning someone who probably has that kind of mindset.
Yes.
Because we probably choose because of the things that you're feeling at the moment.
And
but
very
then
physical.
very physical. But then when it gets to the tough times, when we really need to pull in the weight, the work, intentionally, actively working at making this relationship better.
And I feel we miss out on the point because during the wedding day, what do we tell this couple? You know, here for better, for worse. But we never get to tell them how it is.
How it can get worse.
How it gets worse. How do you get to deal with that? You know, you talked about the changes. When I get sick, how can my spouse support me? How can I support my spouse when they get sick? Okay?
We don't talk about these things during the dating.
Oh, yes.
Like you can get
terminally ill. I remember this lady who does some pretty good job with selling baby stuff. Okay? And I remember this couple was buying this the car mattress, of course covered so that the baby, when they urinate, doesn't get into the car mattress. And remember this business lady, you know, asking, but do you get to think about your partner if they get to such a point? Do you get to think about your parent when they get to such a point? Okay? And you see, such encounters, all right? Because today, we can't say that cancer is for the, you know, old age or for the whites, okay? It's here with us. Talk about issues to do with that diabetes, you know, when I'm no longer as a bull, you know, talk about like I used to be at the beginning. How do we get to maneuver through such encounters? Because that could be one of the reasons why we are actually drifting away.
Absolutely. So what we're trying to say here, if I'm understanding right, is that probably love is not enough to bridge the gap that emotional distance comes in or is created in a relationship.
It could be.
It could be enough.
If done right.
Okay.
Right. If done right. Thank you.
I'm going to take you to the end and then wait for you to jump in.
If done right. Because, again, going back to 1 Corinthians 13, the love described there is all-encompassing.
Okay.
And how I like to summarize that verse is, love is intentional.
Okay.
The intentionality of it. So relationships work with intention. Most of the time when you're entering a relationship, it's about, it's a feel-good thing.
Yes.
I'm entering because it feels good. I have butterflies with this person. They make me feel. So it's all about feelings.
Yes.
But like Kagondu has said, the feelings dwindle. Then what? That's where intentionality enters. He talked about dates, cultivating that love. Because what you cultivate grows, what you leave, you know, you find weeds and tares everywhere. So you can't differentiate the real thing and the weeds and everything else. And most of the time you find in relationships the weeds are talking louder. What are the weeds? The little fights that we had, the chaos of everyday life, the chaos of bills, the chaos of kids, like Kagondu has talked about, the chaos of work, everything. Like if you choose, you can just get
stressed by breathing. If you choose, like there's so much happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the intentionality of it, I make the intention to speak to my spouse meaningfully every day.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It may look boring, but we are like, let's schedule 30 minutes where we just talk, really talk, looking into each other's eyes. When we go to bed, the children have gone to bed if we have kids, but we just really, really talk. Let's make it intentional that we're actually going to talk about our sexual intimacy. Because one person checked out a long time ago and they're just there, you know, and probably hate it, but they're not saying it. Let's make it intentional to talk about these things. We realize now we have kids, we just can't jump on each other any moment. So we actually have to schedule sometimes, and it's there. It may look boring, but guess what? It's intentional. It's those things that look boring that will actually lead to you guys coming closer, closing the gap of the emotional distance. Because if you don't schedule some of these things, there will be no time for them.
Sure.
That's
You know,
so true.
there'll be no time. There's a bill. Most of the time you find, and I counsel couples I know, you enter the house, and especially men complain about this a lot. They enter the house and the first thing they're being told, toka nilisha. Alafu, unajua mwalimu alikuwa anasema kuna kafees kamebaki. Nani amekuja home fees haijalipo? Like, like that's it. Hakuna, hey, hi darling, how are you? Let me take your coat. Maybe, okay, you've entered together, maybe probably because you're both working, but there's not that thing of Mazel, hey, kazi niliambiwa hivi, niliambiwa, hey, ukadu, like there's no that
easing into it.
It's
just combative.
It's just boom, 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 pampers zimeisha, why sweat? That's how you don't anything. No, like, so there's no camaraderie. There's no that dance of life. It's just pam, dagger after dagger. Nimekushoot kwa heart, sasa heart imeisha, wacha nikute kwa stomach. Like, you know. So we're not taking, there's no intentionality of the relationship actually working. And if there is intentionality, you will actually find you will start growing together. The reason why one person is growing and leaving the other one behind is because the intentionality ended. We stopped talking. You don't know what the dreams of your partner are anymore. I actually tell couples, the minute you stop being curious of your partner, that relationship is gone. Because you won't ask the right questions. You won't talk about the right things. You won't be interested. The interest is gone. Because if there's interest, you'll actually ask your partner, so what are your dreams? What does that mean for you? Tell me. You've been promoted. Tell me about that position. How does that make you feel? What does that position mean? What do you intend to do with that position? And the guy gets excited. He's like, I'm gonna do this. Really? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to do that. Oh, wow. And you celebrate the milestones because he actually told you that this is what I would want to achieve in this job. So when he achieves that, when he comes home, he finds, if you didn't have money for a big cake, he finds like a cupcake with a candle celebrating that small milestone. Imagine how that guy will feel. He'll feel like, I need to push more for me to get even, to be celebrated like this. And you know the only reason why you're celebrating? Because he told you. He told you this is what I would want to achieve. And you actually realize he did achieve it. So let's celebrate it. So it's that intentionality. And intentionality doesn't come in a place where you guys have stopped talking.
No.
Because the minute you stop talking, enmity, there's no vacuum in the spirit world. And there's no vacuum anywhere actually. So when you stop being friends, enmity is waiting. There's no vacuum. When you stop loving, hatred is waiting. Hakuna vacuum, kuna kitu tu itaingia. So that's why the intentionality is so important. If you're feeling some type of way about your partner, talk. Tell him, by the way, ila siku vile uliniguza, by the way. I
didn't like it.
Na hiyo tone yako, there's a way it makes me feel. I know you're this kind of a person, and I know you're going through pressure, but is there a way we can communicate better? We can talk better. You know, when you do this, I feel. You know, so you're not attacking the person, saying you're always, it's more of you're talking about that particular issue at that particular point. What makes conflict explosive is because you make it wide. You're speaking about everything that even happened before you were born. When I was in my mother's womb, I knew you were coming to do this. Like, you know, what about now? You know, when you came in and you didn't want to talk, and I've been waiting for you to rest for the last 2 hours so we can talk.
Yeah.
I felt neglected.
Okay.
I felt unseen.
Yeah.
So you're telling him what he or her, what they did in that space, not what they did yesterday
or last year.
That's what you're told. Don't let anything, don't go to bed with any animosity. Talk about it, because when it comes to tomorrow, kuna zingine zinagojea kesho. Sasa tena unaleta ya leo. Hamtamaliza kusolve until you die. On your deathbed you'll be telling them,
na ukumbuke.
Na ukumbuke. In fact,
mnamo tarehe.
In fact, nikikumbuka hiyo sitaki kukuona niache. You know, like,
and you're in the coffin.
And you're dying.
Yeah.
You're
and
breathing your last.
I don't know what Kagondi would say about that, and the illusion of men coming home and you know, being hit with that information. The other thing that I also saw, even as you add on to that, is how as girls we dress up, you know, to the world. We are looking also gorgeous as we step out. The moment I get home, and I used to dress up, you know, for our dates and at the beginning of the relationship, but then now it's Adera, Sengengeni Ngombe.
You're even pulling your other boob from the
And how probably that creates, you know, some distance. You're not attractive anymore. Is it a true thing, or it's a thing that we're just talking about on social media?
You know, you don't know how scary it is.
It's scary.
Kupatana na mtu anakaa ni kama anaenda kwa moon. You know?
Anavaa boshori.
Kuna baridi.
Kidogo tu amebakisha bakora tu. Umuita security. Anyway, it's such an encounter, you know, when you get to think about the changes that come about when you progress in relationships. And you see, when you get so familiar with each other, some things are bound to happen. You know?
It's not such a bad thing, is it?
We're no longer exciting, you know. And you remember at that time, actually I still remember, you know, my very first encounters, when you could hear, you know, babe, I'm coming over for the weekend. You ensure that you scrub that house to the last, you know, bit of it, you know, to the cornermost part of the house, or even the Kasingo, you know, the SQ. But you see what happens when we get together. I'm familiar with you, and I know you're going nowhere, so there's no effort, okay? And this is why it gets so disturbing. When you find somebody, the way that they used to smell so nice, they no longer do the same. Okay, you remember the attires and all that. It would be nice for you to look what they say, you know, pretty if not sexy, all right? But the thing is, you find that since I'm too familiar with you, everything is just common with each other. And remember what you had mentioned, that it's very important for us to remember what used to make the relationship kick. Okay, if you're in a relationship, even if it is marriage, to me, what I always say, don't stop dating. You know, dating should be an everyday encounter. So as I present myself to the other person, do it as if I'm meeting that person for the first time. Okay, so sikupatana na mtu amesema tibim, you know, hiyo ndio t-shirt imeandikwa, and you expect somebody to get all over excited over you and all that. Okay, and you know, this is why we have all those you know, exhibitions and all that do some pretty nice clothes for the lady. But the thing is, it's good that we get to think about the welfare of the other person, the well-being of the other person. Make them excited. Make them have that quench, you know, to see you, to meet you every other time. And this is why even what you tell the other person is very important. It's not even what you say to them, it's how you say it. Remember, maybe I had a pretty rough day, a long day, you know, and what I'm meeting at the door is bill after bill, steamer zimeisha, sijui and all that, pampers, hakuna and all that. It's not bad. It is actually good to be responsible, but hey, give me a moment, you know, to just take a breather. And that tells you that if I feel that you're concerned, that you're caring, that you're sharing some compassion with me, I'll also be able to bring out the best in me, all right? So every other lady out there, I know for we who are here, we don't do that. Hakuna story ya TB, ni kama tunaenda kwa moon. We need to show up for the other person.
Okay.
And the question is, many of the times that we complain about the other partner, your partner, but the thing is, are you also, you know, doing what you're supposed to do.
When the ambassador
najua mawe itarusha, nitapigwa.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also need to show up, you know, accordingly, and in a way that will also excite the other person. Okay? And this is why I'm still insisting. It doesn't have to be extra, you know, to be very expensive. Very basic and simple.
But also intentional. Like I can see you're going out of your way to do a lot of things.
Exactly.
And for the ladies as well. Hey, tunongelelea emotional distance, just in case, emotional unavailability in relationships and all of that. And the question that we're asking you today is, what would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? We'll come back with your feedback on Facebook kwa sababu we'll come back with that after the break, and also on our WhatsApp line as well. Let's hear from you and what you think or have experienced in this kind of situation in your relationship. We'll be right back after this break. Oh Lord, it's fire in studio. There's a whole show going on. Where? Hey, okay. There's a lot to be talked about in the conversation around emotional distance in relationship. When you're in that relationship and you feel like love is too far, like what are some of those things that we're doing in this relationship that are actually causing this distance? Because it doesn't come from nowhere. You started off nicely, and then all of a sudden vitu zilienda kwenye zilienda. Now we no longer have a relationship. Now we are brother sister. Now I don't want to see you. Now you don't even exist. You know, all of that. And the question that we're asking you today is, what would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? And we've got a bit of feedback on WhatsApp. If we can just take a look at what watu wa WhatsApp wanasema nini kuhusu mada ya leo. You can have that on the screen. Thank you for that. I am a 21-year-old and I've dated this guy for almost 2 years now. I respect him. I'm loyal, everything. He's never shown me his providence side, although I've never asked him. Even the least stuff like paying for salon, you know, but he says he wants to marry me. I've tried leaving him, but he starts crying and acting desperate, saying he can't replace me because he feels home. But I don't, because he doesn't love me the way I want to be loved. So I'm just wondering, isn't it supposed to come naturally from him? Because I don't want to get married to a deadbeat partner. I need him to prove it. So is that love? And he's very rich. I didn't choose him for money, but I need him to chip in, because if it's for marriage, I want to be sure I am marrying a provider. Provider. I need to be cancelled by the counselor in spectacles. Miriam, I am in this huddle and she has enlightened me with hope. Kindly share her contacts. We'll do that on the show, so keep it right here. I've been in a relationship for 3 years now. Since I lost my job in February, it's been 9 months. I've noticed her drifting away. Communication has dried up. And even when I try to ask for communication so I can work on things, I mostly get cold responses, like I'm okay or silent treatment. I understand finances is pivot in a relationship, but recently she told me that to bring back the spark, I should give her money. Well, I understand relationships, they have seasons. It's troubling to feel like emotional closeness is now tied to financial support. It had left me thinking I want to be with someone who values me for who I am emotionally, not just for what I can give materially. I'm genuinely considering walking away because I don't want this anymore. So you can handle that? Okay. Hello, you world. My partner decided that he wants celibacy since January this year. Until marriage for his religious reasons. He didn't tell me until I asked what was happening to us. Also, I was pregnant at the time, so I was like, it doesn't make sense. I have made peace with it. So tunakaa kama roommates, but I'm afraid by the time your marriage in Africa, we will be strangers. What's going on there? So, okay. Good job, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll tackle those questions. Tuanze na gani?
Okay.
Yes.
The guy
Yes.
Who has lost his job and the lady is kind of pulling off and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a true indicator that they are materialistic and they are here because of what you have. Okay. And to me, this is not authentic because it doesn't matter whether I got the job, whether I'm able to do, whatever it takes, for we to be together. In fact, this is the best time for the lady to support him, to be with him, to ensure that he's at least okay, because the transitions and the challenges that come with one losing a job and the financial constraints that come with it. So to me, you really don't have to wait for another cue. Or even to tell you that this is not the right space for you. My brother, just work on you and ensure that the best revenge is actually massive success. But I don't think this is the right person for you. Yes.
Okay, and I think the other one was
the lady dating.
Yes, and we are dating and you're not giving me money, but you're saying you want to marry me, so I need to see your providence, So,
yes. So in this particular case, this lady she's a 21-year-old girl.
Yes.
I want to imagine what developmental stage she's in. She desires intimacy. I'm imagining her financial position. I don't know whether she's actually making money or not, but she needs to, identify what is this need that he has for providence, and where is this belief coming from that as long as I'm dating someone, he needs to provide for me. Yes. There are certain people who don't expect provision from men while they are dating. Like for me, I never expected when I was dating my husband to provide for me. But also there are people who believe that as long as you're dating someone, he needs to provide for you, right? So her belief system, the fact that she believes that she needs to be provided for, let me validate it because it is her belief, all right? Okay. The next question is, has she communicated it that she actually waits or she expects this man to provide for her, to help, to make her hair and all that? So if she has not yet communicated, then it is on her that her need has not been met specifically because it has not been communicated. Now, inside her as a person, she's longing for a certain masculinity to take charge. Okay? The man to provide, because we have this belief that a man actually is supposed to provide for us. Yes. And for us as women, we are feminine. We want to release our feminine energies. Yeah? So it's important to validate that that's a longing that she has, and that it is something that needs to be addressed. However, let me now talk about the other side.
Yes.
That we need to identify why are we in this relationship, and I'll keep saying it again and again. Is it so that this person can provide for you? Yeah. If for you to determine whether a man should marry you is based on what he can be able to provide for you, then I think you might need to reconsider your thought. Okay. Why? Because today he could be in a position to provide for you. 3 years, 5 years later, he loses his job, he loses money, he's not able to provide. Does it mean that this marriage relationship is done? So it's important to evaluate, for this girl to evaluate her intention to get married to this person beyond the provision.
Okay.
She needs to look at other things. Are other needs met by this particular person? We are talking about emotions, emotional compatibility. Is this person able to minister to me, to speak to me, and love me as I am? She also needs to look at herself, ask herself, am I enough without the provision of this other person? And for everybody, when we are getting into relationships, it is important to realize and understand that we need to be whole before looking for other people, so that we are not seeking to be dependent on others, but we are seeking to do life together. I can take care of myself, I can take care of my needs. When this person comes into my life, he's coming to complement me, so that together we can build a purposeful relationship.
Absolutely. I love that. Quite comprehensive. You can chime into this even as you tell us about the celibacy situation and sharing your number as well.
I think what I would want to add to that is there are a few things that I got. They've been dating for 2 years, I think, and they're talking marriage.
Yes.
And she's tried to leave him, but he cries. So there are a few things. So one, you've been dating for 2 years, and that has been a need that she has not communicated within the 2 years. Like I was saying before, communication is very important. And if they're talking marriage, they're no longer dating, they're now in courtship.
Yeah.
And I think that's why for her, she's looking at it like, I'm afraid, what if I get married? Is this the same trend that will continue? And rightfully so. It's good she's thinking about it because they're in the courtship phase. This is where she's looking at him like, is he going to be the man I expect him to be in terms of what is important for her, providence? If he can't already show me a little bit of that right now, will it change in marriage? And most of the times I'd like to say, well, I don't know in terms of money, but what you see before you get married is what you will see after you get married. They usually say the good traits of a person before you get married get cut into half after you get married.
Huh?
Yes.
Say that again slowly.
The good traits you see of a person before you get married, after you get married, they get cut into half. So if you are seeing 10 good traits, you will start seeing 5. Because don't forget, there was putting the best foot forward. Now that, like Agondu said, we are in, I have relaxed into my space.
Yes.
So if you're already seeing something right now, one, don't assume it's going to change. Because you might think, maybe when we get married, he'll be more responsible, he'll take care of me. Don't assume it will change. Talk about it.
Yes.
I see most of the people who end up breaking the first year of marriage, they slept through courtship. What does it mean sleeping through courtship? You didn't talk about the important things.
Yes.
You didn't talk about money. You didn't talk about your relationship with money as an individual, or how you see me with my money, which she hasn't talked about how she sees him with his money. You didn't talk about those things, right? Then I would also tell her, be very careful. There's a lot of manipulation happening. A person who cries and throws fits when you're about to leave them, then there's manipulation. So first of all, it's not love that's keeping her there. It's the manipulation. When I leave him, he's going to crumble. My friend, I'm talking directly to you. You're not his oxygen.
Hey.
You leave, he will still breathe. You know, yes, you love him, you can be responsible for that
Camera
love.
tu ndio yake direct.
You're not his oxygen. He will survive. The thing is, I would ask the question, why have you been trying to leave previously until he cries, then you come back? There's a reason that's making you want to leave. And that reason won't end. You will get married to him and the reason will still be there. Only now, there's a covenant and a commitment, which will make it harder. You'll be like, Sasa, tumesha sema I do. There were 100 people to witness.
Before na nikaka. Sasa ninasema
sasa. Don't, this is the time. Courtship is that period. Dating is come and see. You have come and seen, you have entered, now you're courting. Courting is, we are diving in, I'm getting to know you better, I'm starting to see the reality of you, this is what I like and this is what I don't like, I can't change this, but can I live with it? So you're asking yourself all those questions, which are very, very important. That's what courtship is for, when you're awake. But if you're asleep, you will still walk down the aisle with those questions in your head and you never talked about them. Talk about them now. And if you can't reach a compromise, then you're in the wrong relationship. The other thing about her providence, the number one need for women is security. In all levels. We always are looking for security. Emotional security, financial security, physical security. That's why you'll find the man sleeping next to that. Like, it's just, we want to feel secure. Ukisikia msichana akikuuliza, uko wapi? Hako secure. Hajui unafanyanga nini na time yako. So we look for security. And it makes us feel, so maybe for her, there's something about her that's making her look for financial security. And because she can already see that he has the money, she's wondering, will I feel secure even with him having that money financially? It's not about that, her being a gold digger because she's never asked him for money. She could have asked for money, but she hasn't. So it's more of, I think, security. Now, moving on to the one who has decided to practice celibacy after ameingisha mpira kwa nini, kwa goal. It's weird. Let me just say, I'm sorry, forgive me, but it's true. They're sleeping on the same bed. If for some reason, and it happens, if for some reason you found the Lord Jesus in the process of the relationship, na umekuwa saved, ungekuwa umehama. You cannot sleep on the same bed with your temptation and claim you're saved. When you get saved and you realize, hii mchezo nimekuwa nikicheza is the wrong thing, siwezi, let's live
differently until we get married, and let's plan our marriage. Let's plan our wedding.
Yeah.
He could have done certain steps. Let's just say, I'm sorry if I'm judging you and you're watching this. Let's just say he's terrified that she's pregnant. Probably he's terrified to sleep with her when she's pregnant because he doesn't know what that means.
Okay.
Right? He may not find her attractive right now. It's okay because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
There are different hormones playing. He's stressed. There's a baby coming along the way. And you know, when a man is also stressed, he doesn't feel like having sex. God will tell us. You know, it's not all the time a man wants sex. We assume that. But sometimes stress won't just let them. So there's a lot of variables going on. And he realizes the only way he can be safe about it without making her feel unattractive or without making her feel like he's scared or there's fear, the only way he can get away with it, because you can't argue when someone says, Nimepata Yesu, you can't argue with that.
No, you can't.
That is my, how do I come and tell you you're haujampata, but nimekwambia nimempata? You cannot argue with religious beliefs.
Yeah. But then what does it mean for the lady now who's probably not on the same path? Isn't it for her to probably now just choose, because she also feels unsure of if it will ever happen, the walking down the aisle?
She already can tell. But for her to talk about it, she can already see the signs. She's already, for her to bring it up, she's feeling rejected.
Okay.
She's feeling rejected because that's why she said, it's funny because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
She's wondering, all this whole time that we've been in the playing field,
Yeah.
you didn't find Jesus then. Then all of a sudden now I'm pregnant. And that is the topic in question. So she's wondering, what is my security? And if she has her own, I mean, I'm carrying a child. So is this man in this for the long haul? Is he going to stay? I would suggest for them to have a very candid conversation.
Absolutely.
Very, very candid.
Yeah.
So tell me about you finding Jesus. What does it mean? What does it make, I mean, what does it mean for our situation right now? Now that you have found Jesus, are we talking marriage? Because that's what he would expect for us. He turned water into wine in a wedding feast. I mean, is that what we're doing in this relationship? Or what is our future?
And even timelines of that.
Yeah,
timelines. I'm pregnant now.
And you're sleeping next to me.
Yeah.
As a woman, I have needs, but you're not meeting those needs.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So they need to talk. I would suggest they talk about it candidly. This is not where you sweep things under the rug. Let it come out in all its ugliness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked for your number as well, Miriam.
We can send it to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. No problem. Before we went on a break and answered all the questions that we've had to answer, Kangondo, you were talking about tidiness. It was something that we didn't talk about, and how the role it plays in relationship in creating emotional distance.
Allow me to just mention something small, then I take that in.
Yes.
I'm just a bit concerned about these partners who are looking for the provision from the other person. And the concern is coming from where the origin of all this is, because many are the cases that you find that from the baggages that we are talking about, the childhood traumas, the encounters that we had before, I'll look at my partner as my mother, you know, and maybe this is why I'll be in a space where I'm quite remorseful, and I tend to expect them to mother me, and this is one of the deal breakers in most cases. Talk about this lady who for a long time they have been thirsting for the father figure, a father who provide for them, a father who show up for them. Talk about financially, security-wise and all that. And unto you if they tag along, and that will be the expectation, you know, from the relationship that you have. Because in most cases it can be draining, because you don't know whether you should be a father in this particular relationship, or should you be a partner, Should you be the mother to this guy or the partner? So we need to have it clear, and this is why it was very important for us to mention why we need to work on us, work on the I before we become we. okay? Because that would be very important. Otherwise, we'll be bringing in a lot of unfinished business, and the other guy will be asking questions. The other lady will be like, you know, in some sort of quagmire because they are not very sure of what is expected of them. Now, onto tidiness, as a moving on swiftly, you know, into matters tidiness. And remember, the discussion was how do we conduct ourselves once we get so comfortable with each other, and especially when you are too familiar. And this is a guy who used to really groom himself, you know, when he's going out for the date. Even if it's not a very expensive shirt, it has to be ironed. It's very neat, clean and nice. Exactly. Okay, putting on some cologne to ensure that, you know, they don't disturb the air. Okay, so the thing is, you find that most men, and I've seen quite a number really complain, it's the shift that comes with the marriage or even getting serious with the relationship. Initially, the lady was so, you know, into details. Talk about tidying up the room, ensuring that the meals are nicely done, okay? But nowadays, it is pilaunjeri, okay? So they're not even really into details and all that. If it is personal grooming, it will also become an issue. You find that this particular person, I really don't want to, you know, be a bit tough to them, but you may find that the way that they keep themselves, the way that they are grooming themselves, it's something wanting. You see, we are a hard-working nation, and at times we might even sweat along the way. But it's also good that before I meet my better half, to at least even clean up. Okay, do some tidying up, okay? Because that could be one of the things that is putting off somebody when they really want to be intimate with you. Think about the playing ground. You know, you're talking about the game and the match and how it's supposed to be. And this is why we say, actually the bedroom should be very, you know, intimate and sacred, you know. Talk about really keeping it so well, okay? Some are really not concerned, so you find that the bed, it's not even done. I know the question would be who should do the bed. Is it the one who you know?
Is it a you job?
But the thing is, it needs to be tidy. Same case, talking about ensuring that the sheets are well taken care of, the towels and all that. Even to freshen up the room, open the windows, you know, because many of the times that they really complain. So you find most of the men coming over, you know, who are really complaining about their spouses as a reason why they want to look for another option, or even why the distance is really wedding up. It could be because of how neat we are and how well we groom ourselves. So we really not need to stop dating. Let's keep up the fire burning, you know, the way that we used to do it when we are dating. Kindly, it's not wrong, you know, to wear some lipstick like you're doing. You know, you look amazing. So why don't we do it, you know, once in a while? It can be every day, but at least to spice up things, okay? Same case with the man, you know. We also do.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Lydia was waiting.
Lydia was waiting.
Yes. It can't be a one way.
Exactly, because you find that I'm very aware that maybe my shoes, you know, they smell, and
or the nails
are, you know, overgrown and all that. It's not well brushed. You know, that's okay. But small things that will put somebody off. Okay, you can imagine when the nails are all over and there's some, you know. Imagine. Okay, so let's ensure that our personal grooming is top notch as well. Okay, to ensure that the other person is comfortable. As we take care of the babies, let's not forget about us. As we take care, you know, make a living out there, because you may find us doing very well when it comes to our careers, getting all those accolades, and of course being appreciated for the job well done out there. But let's reciprocate the same to our homes, because remember, what happens right at home is a replica of what happens, you know, in the society. And the same way you find the country being like, okay? So if we can be able to sort our things, you know, pale nyumbani, mambo itakuwa shwari.
Sawa, tuko na dakika moja, sijui kama itatosha ama nishikilie.
I would also say, if you want to see your partner a particular way, make them look like that.
Yes.
I agree.
What does that mean?
I agree.
If I'm dating a guy, or if I have my husband who I don't like his fashion sense,
Aha. Panel beat.
nitaenda tu kuleta
Tengeneza.
anaenda kutafuta kale kamzee anapata akako.
Okay.
Uioni sijaiona. Anapata mpya.
Yes.
You know, if you want to see me dress in a particular way, you want me to wear certain underwear, buy them.
Yes.
Surprise me with them. I'll
Yeah.
wear them proudly. Nilibaiwa. Like, you know, like, I think it's make your partner your dream partner.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
You know, make them your dream partner, because the reason why even Mpango wa Kango are aesthetically beautiful, fine, they're taking their time because wanakutaka, but now that you're in there, the same intentionality I talked about, be intentional about one another.
Absolutely.
If there's a particular, if you're wanting to smell a particular way, ulienda ukaisikia mahali kwingine.
Leta nyumbani. Leta nyumbani. Okay.
Spray
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I think I'd like for us to probably look at how we can rebuild emotional safety, you know, in the home. Now that we've seen from big conversations of gifting to just how clean you are and smell, like the array is huge of how things can go wrong. And now because that is out there, and then how do we build it up again if there's an opportunity for that to happen? And the question that we are asking you today is very, very simple. We are asking you, what would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? And kuna mtu anasema, even as we come back to more of this comments on Facebook, nothing. I would say nothing. Just tune your mind to grow emotionally distant too. Jameni. Alafu basi si utoke tu. Toka. Exit stage left. Hakuna haja tukaya hapa kama hatuko sote wawili. But we'll be checking more of your feedback after the break. NTV Kenya and all our social media platforms. Do not go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your World Relationship Tuesday. We're talking about emotional distance, when love feels like it's too far. And we're asking you a very, very simple question today. We're asking you, what would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? What would you say to your emotionally distant partner if they were really listening to you? And we've got a bit of feedback on WhatsApp, so let's take a look at that, combined with some of your questions as well. So, thank you. That relationship advice iko best. Hadi kwa comrades on a date. Hi, hello, right back at you. Hello, I've been in a relationship for 5 months, but we've not communicated for a month. Yeah? Kwa hizi 5 months ama ya 6th ndio mja communicate. But my guy texted me on Sunday and told me that he wants to give me another chance. So I'm confused if it is better to take that chance or I leave him because he doesn't help me.
Okay, communication.
Hello, Your World. I'm Mercy from Homa Bay. And for me, my fiance is kind of principled. He only spends when it's necessary. Like if you need money, you have even to line Diota Akupe do your salon. Is there anything wrong? I'm being stressed of his stingy self. Providence again. Hello there, Your World. May I also have Miriam's number, please? We'll send it to you directly. Very informative topic and well covered. I'm over 60 and I have learned a lot. Albeit late. Dance Otieno from Migori County. Thank you so much. And it's never too late, Dance. Never too late. Akaze Kamba Safari Bado. That is what you'd tell them. Hi, guys. Nice job, by the way. I'm enjoying the show. So back to me. Mine is my baby dad's, who just really is poor in communication. Like, I just don't know how he does it. Like, for example, we may plan on maybe a date somewhere, na hata niombe leave kwa job. Then on that specific day, he just doesn't pick up his phone. Like, what is that? And when maybe later he picks up after a few days, he's like, I wouldn't make it and I didn't want to tell you because it would hurt you. Now that I have his kid, actually, he's 2 months old, we do talk, but anytime I tell him to send money, some cash, maybe diapers, or maybe some meds, he just ghosts. What am I supposed to do with that? Ghost person. Good morning, Your World. Is it normal for your heart to shut down like you feel nothing for your partner. I left the relationship, started a new one, but I still feel empty and lonely. I feel more happy when I'm alone than with someone.
Yeah.
Is it normal for your heart to shut down? It's fair game. Who wants to go first?
I think I can take it.
Okay.
It is normal for someone's heart to shut
down. Okay.
It is normal for some, should I say normal and abnormal? Because I will explain, I'd love to talk about why you'd shut down.
Yes.
Yes, it is normal. Now, sometimes people are in a spaces, we are in different seasons of our lives.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
There are seasons when we want relationships. There are seasons when we want to connect. There are seasons when we want to, to do life with people, but also there are seasons when we want to be alone. And this happens a lot, especially when people are doing a lot of introspection and a lot of reflection on where they are at in life. And they feel the energy they have at that particular moment, they want to focus on a specific thing or a specific issue. I've interacted with people who have told me, Lydia, right now I'm not ready for relationships. I want to focus on my career growth. I want to focus on my financial growth. You get it? So that is very normal. However, there is the abnormal side, whereby you can shut down your emotions. One, maybe because you're going through something, maybe because you're going through trauma. Trauma has capacity to put you in emotional blocks, whereby you have no space whatsoever to be able to accommodate any intimacy or any vulnerability and connection with other people. Sometimes it is an illness, a mental health illness. Sometimes maybe it is you're experiencing, as I said, depressive disorder, sometimes or obsessive disorders and schizoid disorders. So when you're going through an emotional illness, which is a brain illness, then it is very possible to have an emotional shutdown where you're not in a position to connect with people at all. Okay. Sometimes it is something that is happening or that has happened in your life. Maybe you are in a relationship and then the relationship really hurt you deeply and you could not actually handle it again. For those people that are in marriages and in long-term relationships, if your partner has kept hurting you again and again and again, he keeps on speaking, verbally abusing you. He's very distant from you. He's not available, or he's overwhelmed you. Maybe you've been over-functioning in the relationship. Then chances are very high, you're human, you'll get tired and you'll emotionally shut down. Now, it is very important to take time and reflect and ask yourself, what has caused me? What has brought me here? And address what has actually brought you to that specifics.
Okay. And so there is hope for her, like probably what probably would be the first steps for her to do to understand and probably get out of that situation?
I think the first thing is you look at history. The good thing about patterns, you'll never go wrong with history.
So go back to
how you used to be. I used to be very open. I used to be very excited with relationships. I used to be very vulnerable, and I enjoyed relationships very well. Or if it is in a relationship, the first year of my marriage, we used to communicate. We used to go out on dates. We used to enjoy being with one another and opening up to each other. But now somewhere on the 5th year, that is when something happened. Ask yourself, what is that thing that happened then? Once you identify it, admit that that is a problem. Now come up with solutions or options to be able to address that particular issue. Sometimes it is internal chaos. We talked of internal chaos. You're struggling as a person. You're in a situation whereby maybe you're not experiencing growth, you're experiencing a form of stagnation, yes, and you're really struggling as an individual, yes. So ask yourself, what is this that I'm going through? Might you need support? Maybe therapy? You need even to speak to someone who can help you actually dissect all this that you're going through and come and together find a solution.
Absolutely.
So as a person, there is hope. The good thing about emotions, we can always overcome.
That's true. Kagondo.
Yeah.
Ghosting.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the question. I looked at you, I was like, you're going to handle that.
Yeah. Pretty nice, and it takes me back to one of my good friends called Ghost Mule. He used to tell us back in the day when we were playing soccer that simplicity is genius, and there's a lot, you know, that you can be able to pick when you're silent and, you know, at that particular space. And for this guy to behave the way he's doing, like he is, you know, at the current moment, it means that's something that began. There's a high possibility that it began a long time ago, because you don't learn to ghost, you know, just like that. Yeah, there's a high possibility that it happened once, if not twice, there before, but you see, we are so kind to each other, and you want to accommodate them, you want to keep them and all that, okay? But now it takes me back to the concern of what you had just shared on the attachment styles, because there's a high possibility that this particular person, one could be an avoidant or even somebody who is also anxious, and thinking about that capacity of anxious attachment, this is a transition that many are not really prepared for. And this is where we say that when it comes to matters, marriage, talk about relationships, this is where you get the certificate first, but then you go to class after, okay? So you learn along the way. And this is why the first child is not like the second child, and a parent is a parent to a particular child, not to us, you know? And it can be a space where the guy could not be, you know, quite familiar with being the first child and all that. But to me, it's good that we be honest with each other. We invest where we attach value. And I'm sure this guy will be present if he really meant to be there, okay? Let's not have excuses of, you know, I'm still dealing with my own insecurities and all that. Hey, man, you brought a child into this world. You really need to be present for the child, okay? But now, there's also a concern where you find that we use the child as a bait, if not as a weapon, you know, for the other person, okay? And at times, it can put the whole thing off balance. The mathematics are not mathing, you know, at the end of the day. So are we really using the kababy as a way of trying to get to this particular person? And this is why, as a team, you need to get together and be honest with each other. Talk about this particular episode, if not the transition that has taken place, okay? I would want to know, why is this guy ghosting all of a sudden, okay? I want to know why he's keeping off. Okay, is it that he's in another relationship, or he's actually not willing to be part and parcel of this particular encounter? Because remember what you were saying, that there's no vacuum in this world. So when Aki left this side, there must be something that is occupying him at the other side. Okay, so the thing would be, it's good that you have an honest conversation, but it's also a cue, if not a telltale, you know, for where this ride is going to. Okay, so you better be prepared for some turbulence and, of course, some hard times in future. But it doesn't mean that it is not possible. It's always good that we get to communicate. If you can have somebody walk with you, talk about a marriage counselor, Miriam and I are here, and of course our life coach here, and that means that we can be able to support you to maneuver and deal with those challenges that come about, okay? So ghosting can be, you know, one thing, and being very intentional to take care of your child, if not your son or daughter, is another.
Miriam, you can chime into this, even as you tell us, because clearly emotional distance is clearly one of the top reasons why relationships probably break. And I've also discovered through this conversation that love can be present, that love is not gone, but what is actually gone is the emotional safety of, you know, feeling like I want to talk about this. I am in a space where I can be intimate with you in one way or the other. So even as we come to the end of this conversation, as you chime into this, maybe we can start on the beat of how do we rebuild the emotional safety then, so we don't leave people hanging.
Let me just start with the chiming in.
Yes.
From the very one who said her heart. I feel like I got a sense that she's become apathetic. Apathy is you don't have feelings for anything. It's not just about even. I would find that a red flag. It's not just about the relationship. And I would want her to go back and find out, what else am I just feeling about? Things that I was previously excited about. Why am I not excited? Because she's obviously, when you get into a relationship, you're obviously getting in, looking for the excitement. You're excited and you're getting in. And then all of a sudden, I am better off without it. That tells me there are other things in life that she's also feeling apathy towards. She's just there, like nothing is exciting and stimulating her. And like Lydia said, that's a sense of something, it's a sign of something bigger. And I would recommend her to talk to someone, because it could be a sign of early forms of depression, where life is just in black and white. You wake up in the morning,
there's no color there.
The sun, it's too hot. It's raining, it's too miserable, like nothing, you know. So that's a sign of something starting. So I think if she talks to someone early enough, she can be helped through it.
Okay.
About this one that's ghosting, what I would want to chime in is, if you notice the dynamics of the relationship have changed because of an event, and that will lead me to working with emotional distance. Events, occurrences in life change the dynamics of the relationship. They have come from boyfriend and girlfriend to parents of a 2-month-old. Unfortunately, the mother has to quickly fit in. She had 9 months to fit in, carrying the baby. The baby is growing in her. She's feeling the movement, everything. She had no choice but to just pick up the role. I'm becoming a mother. This guy has just fallen into it. His few minutes have become now a lifetime. I have a child to take care of. And therefore, the dynamics of the relationship have changed. And if you realize, most of the time, like Kagon said earlier, emotional distance comes in with the dynamics of life. If you're not able to cope up with the dynamics of life as you go on, the emotional distance will just come in. You find a child has come, you have not coped with that. Maybe the woman is even going through postpartum. You as a father, you're trying to find out your role. Have I been replaced? Have I been... So those dynamics, you're not talking about them. A sick parent has come in. Again, roles have changed. A sick spouse, roles have changed. So most of the time, emotional distance will come from the changes of dynamics in life. This guy still wants to probably meet with this lady. He's ghosting her, yes, but he still, from time to time, shows up. That tells you he's still checking in the relationship. He just doesn't know how he's checking in. Am I now just the father? Am I marrying this chick? Am I the boyfriend? What's happening? And then you notice she said when they meet, kuna story ya Pampers na nini. So roles have completely changed. So this guy may be ghosting her, not because he is intentionally ghosting her. He's just burying his head like an ostrich under the sun, hoping the tide passes impite, lakini haiendi. So it's the dynamics there. That's what I've noticed. That's what has brought the emotional distance. So about what can we do about emotional distance? The first question you need to ask yourself before anything else is, how important is this relationship to me? Because that's the only way you will give it the worth that it deserves. And if you give it the worth it deserves, then you will put in the input that it deserves. So the question is, how important is this relationship is? How important is this person? Am I willing to go all the way for this relationship? Now, we're assuming it's not just a marriage relationship, even just a dating relationship. Am I willing to go all the way with this person? And if I am, what am I willing to fight for? Is this a person I'm feeling I have a future with despite the emotional distance? Then, if you do realize that I want this relationship to work, I want this person in my life, then you put in the right amount of work for it. Because as much as people think, people say, why should I work for love? Why should I work for relationship? But I always say, even for you to become proficient in your job, you work at it. Experience makes perfect. You work at it. The more you work at something, the more you become good at it. So it's the same thing with relationships. If you're willing to close the gap of that emotional distance, first of all, you have to start from the very beginning. Like we have said, you have already discussed and decided, I want this relationship to work. Then now you start from the very beginning of this relationship, like Lydia said. Where did we grow apart? You go back to the basics. What happened? We used to communicate like this, and
make it a free space, a safe space zone, whereby if I say ulinikera hivi, hautanirukia na defensiveness, hapana lakini ni wewe unafanyanga, you know, so safe space, look for that space. Talk about it. Talk about the issues that make you tick, the issues that make you mad, the issues that make you hard, you know, actions that are not working anymore, how we've grown apart, how I've grown and you've not grown. So it's an issue of talking. This one is not a matter of hocus pocus and it will work.
No.
Or in kipikiponki, let's see which one works. No, it's a matter of tunatoa hii. When a car goes to a mechanic, I sometimes I look at mechanics and I laugh. They have no idea what is happening. Unaona tu amezuba, like let's say your car gets spoiled on the road. Ameiangalia unashanga, okay, bionic eyes. Utajua you know, but for them to know what the problem is, they have to do a diagnosis. Mara maybe ametoa hii plug, ametoa ingine, anahakisha anasema, hey, imesound CEO, kuna ingine. Hivyo, it's the same thing with a relationship. You're going to have to unplug, replug, reroute, uproot, you know, plant again. But it's going to take work. But once you are certain that this is a relationship I'm willing to work for, that is the beginning of everything. Absolutely. Then now come up with a safe space. It could mean maybe you go see a counselor. Maybe that's a safe space where you won't throw jabs at each other. But you have to be in a space where you're willing to listen to your partner without being defensive. Because when a mirror is shown at us and we don't like what we see, we can get very ugly. So once the mirror is shown at you, be ready to be told, this is what you need to work on, and you're ready to work on it because you know this relationship means something to you. And so also the other person. So it's gonna take work. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yes, we've got about 4 minutes, so we can split them.
Yeah, thank you. I think I really love the fact that we are encouraging that one, this really, even if we're in a relationship that is not working, it is possible for, or we are experiencing emotional unavailability and distance, then we need to acknowledge and admit that this is not working, and we start working on it. And at this point, my concern is to this particular couple, whereby one partner is willing to work on their relationship, the other one is unwilling. And I think there are so many of them that are experiencing that. Actually, someone shared with me, as I was telling you, shared with me a question and asked me, Lydia, is emotional unavailability grounds for divorce? That is another issue together. I don't want to address that for now. But the emotional unavailability is not right, is not acceptable. Now, for this particular partner who is not available and somebody you really want to work on your relationship, as Miriam has said, my encouragement would be as a person, as an individual, because you were before the two of you were. Sit yourself down, call yourself a meeting, ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What can I work on so that I'm in a good emotional space to work on this, or maybe to find a balance and emotional acuteness in this space. Okay, look into yourself. I've seen cases whereby one partner has decided to work on their side, to do their part, and with time their partners have actually caught up with them. So as an individual, do your part and trust God. Of course, there's a place for God, but as long as you've done your part, then the other partner is likely to join you through the way.
Absolutely. Kagondo.
Yeah, the reason why we are growing distant or apart, it means that you are together at some point. And the beauty about it is that we have the manuscript, if not the blueprint of how to, you know, how it feels, you know, to be together with all this warmth and all that. So conflict should not be a reason why we need to grow, you know, apart from each other. And the reason why we admire the other person, it's because somebody has done the grounding, the watering, you know, on that particular grass, and that's why it's greener on the other side. So that means that it is a two-way traffic, that I need to do my part, just like we're all saying, and the other person needs to do their part. And of course, work as a team, you know, to ensure that this works. And hapa ndipo tunasema, no matter what if I nini, iwake. Okay? So the thing is, it's doable, it's possible, and if only we are willing to work at it.
Absolutely. Parting shots? I'm only coming Maliza Miriam before I check on Facebook.
I would say, like Lydia is saying, self-evaluate and then also evaluate your relationships.
Okay.
And don't be afraid of the ugliness.
Okay.
Because most of the time why emotional distance arises because we're afraid of the ugliness.
Yeah.
We're not willing to speak the real truth and work at it. If it's something matters to you, then you will speak of the truth. I came across people who said even within their family, their families where they're born, they have superficial conversations. They don't get at it. People have stopped really getting at it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I watch tu to maintain status quo.
Cool.
It's too hard.
Why are we rocking the boat?
Why are we rocking the boat?
Yes.
We're okay like this. But at the same time, kuna mtu anaumia mahali.
Yes.
Na haongei.
Yeah.
Yo kuumia ndio unapata. 1 minute you are going for all the family functions, the next you're not going for any, you're showing up for some.
Yeah.
Just to show up. Because you're not really willing to be there. So it's the same thing with a relationship. Evaluate yourself. What do I really need right now? Is this what I want? Is it working for me? Then evaluate the relationship. Let's work and rebuild it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Facebook wanasema 80. To the question of the day, what should you tell your emotionally unavailable partner if you were sure they were listening? John Gakobo anasema, go distant, farther and farther to wherever. I realize the marriage relationship can only be built by 2 willing partners yielded to each other. Distance iko, Sasha Brave. Huyo partner ndio hakuna.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, wanaume wako hapa wakijichocha na mijistari, alafu wakisha kukamata ole wako, utaona venye ni wanyama. Wasichana kuweni macho sana. Acha tuangalie WhatsApp as we come to the end of this conversation. We've gotten a few more comments as we wind up. Let's have that on the screen, Philip. Thank you. Hello, hello, your world. I dated some chick for 3 years and then I left her because I was going through a lot at the time. I still love her. She says I broke her heart, but she loves me. Recently got back together, but she keeps bringing up the past pain I supposedly caused. Sometimes napewa silent treatment, bila kujua the reason. What should I do? Jameni. Hello guys, kindly could I have Miriam's contact as well? I seriously need some advice as a 22-year-old. Miriam, sijui utafanya nini na hii namba yako? On today's topic, Mimi, as a guy, I'm just wondering, where do people find time to worry about these love dilemmas, when the economy is not letting us breathe? I wish love could worry me. I wish relationships would matter, but I'm just not there currently, and it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Hi, your world. Been talking to this guy for like 3 months and I've started to feel something for him. I did a mistake of confessing to him how I feel about him, and I feel awful because he told me he's not ready. What should I do? Because I feel like hitting myself. My ego is crushed. Oh, I think it's kind if they tell you that they're not ready instead of tagging you along.
Yeah.
Hey, we had read that one.
Is someone asking for a number?
Oh, number? Okay. Okay, got it. I'm Sheila, I'm 20 years old and he's 23. This relationship is always on and off. When I post something about money, he gets angry and threatens to leave. Is he really serious or am I alone? Najipata, we are not talking, the other minute we're totally not talking, huanashindwa, but sometimes it's better to be with the devil, you know, nifanya, I'm still standing with him. The devil. No, I wish we really had time to probably get through all of your questions, but thank you so much for tuning in and for sending in your questions, comments, concerns, and we really do appreciate that, and we were not able to go through all of them, but I'd just like to take this time to thank all of you for coming through today and kujituma kwa hiyo conversation. It wasn't an easy one, but asanteni sana Lydia, thank you Kagondu, thank you Miriam, and I just want to let you know that just because emotional distance iko imanishi love imeisha, probably it's just showing you where the wounds are, and your healing will start with the awareness of where that problem happened, what happened where. So all is not lost. Love you guys. Asanteni sana to my crew and waseoku behind the scenes. Asanteni sana. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.
Wow.